Now, everybody who's watching, let's get RBT to 500,000 subscribers by Christmas. He's the best Madden scientist there is. I subscribe to him, and if you don't subscribe to, your favorite team is going to lose to the I'm not saying that team.
An experiment that's been requested for 3 years, ever since Madden 17. Everybody has been asking for today's research. And since I am the #1 Madden scientist on YouTube, you know me. I've been in the lab, have been doing research, because I want to bring the people what they want. To make one NFL team completely 99 overall takes roughly 3 to 5 hours worth of manpower, worth of manual labor. And you take 5 hours times 32 teams, you get a lot of hours put into some Madden research. But as mentioned, I am the #1 Madden scientist out there, so I do whatever it takes to bring the people what they want. And finally, after 3 years, we have the experiment that everybody's wanted to see. As today, my dudes, we do go out and see what would happen if every single player in the NFL was 99 overall. If every single team, every single player had the same attribute ratings for every single statistic, who's going to go out and grab the Super Bowl W? Now, technically speaking, if everything was the same, if everybody had the same rating as every other team out there was a 99 overall, like logically speaking, every team should go 8-8. So what we are going to do, we're going to do 3 separate simulations with this roster and see if there's any favoritism in the Madden 20 simulations. Because every team is a 99 overall, and if for some reason, like the Browns go 16-0 all 3 seasons, when you know every team has the same exact ratings and the Browns would go 16-0 in this hypothetical situation. So we're going to see a lot today and see what would happen if every single NFL player was a 99 overall. So hopefully, guys, do enjoy my manual labor and my suffering for your guys' enjoyment. And if you do, make sure to smash that like button. Let's see if we can smash. Let's go for like 3,000 likes on today's experiment in the first hour. See if we can make that happen. Make sure you are subscribed though, because we do hit 500k subscribers by Christmas. Our Christmas giveaway on the channel is going to be mental. 4 Xbox One X's and 4 PS4 Pros is going to be given away to you guys, and that's if and only if we do hit 500k by Christmas. So make sure to take that millisecond that it does take to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also extremely important that you do have on notifications, because from now until December 25th, another 20 days, every single upload on the channel for 25 days of Christmas is going to contain Amazon, PS4, and Xbox codes. So all you have to do is have on notifications and be one of the first people to watch the video and win the code. So make sure you do have on notifications for a chance to win you some free codes. With that said, it's time for science to assemble and time to turn on all the laboratory equipment. As let's go over today's roster, although there's not really much to go over. As you see, I'm using the Patriots for no reason whatsoever, but as you see, we are 99 across the board. And as you see, if we go and look, every single NFL team out there, all 32 NFL teams with the roster of 50 plus players, is 99 overall. Absolutely mental scenes. The highest overall player in the NFL is a 99. If we sort, the lowest overall player is a 99. Even if we go into free agency, all the free agents available are 99 with 99 attributes across the board. So mental scenes here on the channel, never seen before. We are going to see what the heck would happen if every team in the NFL was 99 overall. And technically speaking, we should be able to go over here to options, go to user management, and retire our character, and should be able to pick a new team. And yep, every single team, it does say, is 99 overall across the board, because they all have 99 rated players. And it still does say, well, I guess there are some random players that it does say as their top players, like Mike Love. Who are you? He's a 99 rated. That's exactly who he is. Our objective, it's got to be make it to the Super Bowl. I mean, if you're a 99 rated team and your objective is not to make it to the Super Bowl, if that's not your goal, you're a pussy. Commit to your goal for the year. I got balls of steel. Simulating to the playoffs. Wish me luck, my dudes. What the heck is going to happen? Let me know in the comment section below. Who you think will win the Super Bowl if every single player in the NFL was a 99 overall? Simulation is complete, and we did not reach our goal because we went 10-6 and made it to the wild card round of the playoffs. So let's look at our division really quick. The Bills tied 2 games and beat us and won the division, although they had less wins than us. I guess because we have more losses. Crazy. The Dolphins, they still freaking suck, dude. Even though they're a 99 rated team like everybody else, they still only win 4 games, and the Jets at least won 7. I wonder if they lost to the Dolphins and Bengals in the same season again. But we check out these standings really quick. So the best record in the league, if all the players in the NFL were 99 rated, is 11-5, and 4 teams accomplished that. The Falcons, Broncos, Eagles, and Redskins. And it's really important that we do keep in mind what teams do the best and what teams do the worst, because when we do the same exact simulation 2 more times, we'll be able to see if there's a trend among simulating in Madden, even if every team is even as they possibly can be. But going down the list, see some shockers here. Texans go 10-6-1, Ravens 9-6-1, it's the worst one they did in real life. Lions squeak a playoff spot at 9-7. There was only 4 teams that actually go 8-8 on the year. A bunch of 7-9 teams. Worst record in leagues go. Oh, of course it is, dude. Of course, it's my freaking favorite team. So that's fun. But the Chargers, Dolphins, and Titans with the worst records in the NFL. Now, if we go really quick, who the heck won the MVP award this year? So how funny is that, dudes? Patrick Mahomes still wins the MVP for a 2nd consecutive year, even when he's the same rating as every other player across the league. And Amir Abdullah comes in 2nd, Matt Barkley comes in 3rd, and keep in mind, since all these players are the same rating, I guess some random players will start at certain positions when they normally would. I mean, obviously, Josh Allen would normally start for the Bills, but I guess the CPU was just confused. They had so many quarterbacks that were 99 rated, so they picked a random one. But Matt Barkley in 3rd, Carson Wentz in 4th, Mitch Trubisky in 5th, Tyrod Taylor 6th, Jacoby Brissett in 7th, Jeff Driscoll in 8th, Tom Brady in 9th, and Brandon Allen rounding out the top 10 of the MVP race. Now, what I'm really interested to see is the statistics here. Matt Barkley dotted up NFL teams this year. How did he not win the MVP? He blew everybody out in terms of passing yardage, blew everybody out in terms of passing touchdowns. Oh my god, dude, that's something that is huge. Quarterbacks were sacked so many times because the D-line was so good. So that shows you right there, the D-line ratings is way more important than the O-line ratings, because the O-line and D-line are exactly the same in terms of ratings. And a normal team, even if they're like really bad offensively, have a really bad O-line, like they'd only get sacked like maybe 60 times, that's considered bad. But even like one of the best quarterbacks in the league was sacked 92 times. That is insane, dude. So anyways, a lot of touchdowns thrown. Jacoby Brissett in 2nd, Matt Schaub in 3rd, Brandon Allen in 4th, and Tom Brady in 5th. Passing touchdowns once again goes to Matt Barkley, Tyrod Taylor in 2nd. Most interceptions goes to Jacoby Brissett and Ryan Tannehill, both throwing 16 picks in the year. Derek Carr and Jimmy G with 15. In terms of rushing yards, crazy year here from Boston Scott, 1,400 yards, and Patrick Mahomes. No wonder he won the MVP. He's in 2nd. Almost led the league in rushing yards here. 1,400 rushing yards with 10 rushing touchdowns. That's one thing I noticed as well here. There's normally a lot more rushing touchdowns for the league leader, and Damian Williams led the league with 12. Pat Mahomes, there's a ton of players with 10 rushing touchdowns on the year. Now, catching the football, Justin Hardy led the league with 1,600 yards. A lot more receiving touchdowns this time around. Keenan Allen with 20. Justin Hardy, Deshaun Hamilton, and Marvin Hall all with 16, with Chester Rogers and Trevor Davis with 15 receiving touchdowns. And this is what I want to see, the defensive stats. A ton of sacks as wow, dudes. Apparently, defensive tackles, if they're 99 rated, get so many sacks. We have that 6 players over or at 30 sacks on the year, which is obviously an increase compared to what we normally see. And once again, this shows you how, even in simulation, how unimportant offensive lineman ratings are. It's all about the defensive line you're playing against. The tackles go up at all. I mean, 133 is about normal for the league leader. In terms of interceptions, about the same. Kevin Johnson and Dante Johnson both led the league with 5. But the crazy thing, like I said, my dudes, is the biggest thing I have seen is that there's so many more sacks allowed across the league. And there's still kickers that do miss a lot, although they technically shouldn't miss any because they have perfect kicking ratings. The longest field goal on the year was 58 yards, and there was 8 kickers, all with 58 yards as their longest field goal on the year. Dan Bailey still sucks, although he's at 99 rated. So some crazy things we have seen in this first simulation, but it's not going to be ended until we do see who does win the Super Bowl. Once again, we're going to do 3 simulations and see if there's any similarities between the 3 simulations, with all teams being 99 rated. Super Bowl matchup this time around is going to be none other. I'm gonna say like the Browns. I always see the Browns, and no, it's the Ravens and the Eagles. So not too far-fetched, not way too uncommon, but this year, in this first simulation, with every team being 99 rated, every player being 99 rated, the Ravens get a huge W, 41-25. And I do have to go and see if Lamar Jackson was retained as the Ravens starting quarterback. They scored 45 points, and it is actually RG3. Simulation number 2 complete, and the team we user once again makes it to the wild card round. Best record this time around goes to the Cardinals at 12-4. The one thing I have noticed is there's more ties than normal, which makes sense because every team is completely even across the board. But once again, no teams balling out completely, like no 16-0 and 15-1, 14-2 records, because once again, makes sense because every team is even. It would take an absolute miracle for you to go out and win all 16 games. Chiefs with the second best record in the league, going 10-5-1. Lions, Bucks, and Panthers going 11-5 on the year, which is the most common record. Dolphins this time around actually make the playoffs. Jets make the playoffs. Eagles at 9-7 make the playoffs again. And Texans at 8-8. And nothing way too crazy. The Raiders go 4-12. The Titans, the worst record last time around, this time still have a really bad record. So maybe they're just unlucky in simulations. And let's see if once again, if Patrick Mahomes did go out and win the MVP award. It was Patrick Mahomes, so maybe Patrick Mahomes does have some kind of favoritism in terms of MVP simulations. Amir Abdullah again in second. Is this literally like extremely similar to the first top 10? David Fales is up there. But I mean, didn't we see Patrick Mahomes and Amir Abdullah come 1 and 2? Let's see if freaking Matt Barkley once again balled out. No, it's Jacoby Brissett this year led the league with 4,700 passing yards. In terms of touchdowns, goes to Matt Schaub with 47. Matt Barkley, what's his problem? 46 passing touchdowns on the year. Some other quarterbacks threw for over 40 on the year. Most interceptions goes to Matt Schaub with 17 and Sean Mannion with 16. Now, as you see here in this column, once again, quarterbacks are getting sacked way more than normal. So I guess that is definitely a consistency across all these simulations. If all the teams were even in terms of rushing touchdowns, once again, not anybody like going crazy in terms of rushing touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes again, why is he rushing for so many yards? That's just, that's so random. And why is Amir freaking Abdullah coming number 2 in the MVP race when he's like not even leading the league in rushing yards? And normally for a running back to have to come in like the top 5 at MVP in Madden, they have to have like 1,800 yards, like 20 touchdowns on the ground. He literally only had 5 touchdowns on the ground, and less or the same exact yardage as Patrick Mahomes. Hold on a second. Literally, Patrick Mahomes and Amir Abdullah? Bro, they have the same exact statistics across the board. Bro, what the heck? The same yardage, same amount of touchdowns, same amount of rushing yards per game, same broken tackles, yards after contact. Like, either that's a coincidence or they are biological twins. So that's like completely random. Maybe that was the same thing in the first simulation. I didn't really pay attention to that. And Chester Rogers led the league with 20 receiving touchdowns, and he led the league, it looks like, in yardage too, with 1,609 yards. Him and Justin Hardy are balling out these first few years. Now, Sean Hamilton up there again. Now, defensively, who led the league in sacks this time? That's going to go to, once again, John Atkins. A ton of players with over 30 sacks. So, the one, like, consistency we have seen, there's been a ton of freaking sacks across the league. And Super Bowl 54, Chiefs and Panthers. And the one thing that we have seen in these first few simulations is it seems like simulating does favor Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, as I say that and look like a moron. So for this third and final simulation, there's only one team that we can pick, and that's going to be my favorite team, Tennessee Titans. So wait a minute, looks like we might have got a first round bye, so that maybe means user and a team does help you in simulations, because the Titans hadn't made it to the playoffs in 3 simulations, and this time, oh, just kidding. As best record this time around, once again, is 12-4, so makes sense again that there's no teams going 16-0 or 15-1. Cardinals again going 12-4, Colts at 12-4. As there's not really been that many similarities. Like, there's not been one team going 16-0 every year. There's not been one team going 0-16 every year when everybody's even. So it doesn't look like there's really any favoritism in simulation, although the Chiefs, what the heck? Oh, now, maybe, just maybe, even though they're on a really bad team, Patrick Mahomes made it to the MVP again, and he did. Like, that's what is, I don't get it. Like, why is it always Patrick Mahomes and Amir Abdullah? Like, I would get if it was Tom Brady or even a Tyrod Taylor, but Amir Abdullah, like a normal backup running back, like, why? Almost threw for 5,000 passing yards and threw for 50 touchdowns. So the one thing that I can see that has been similar is that there seems like there's more passing touchdowns than what there normally is, and obviously more sacks than normal, as Blake Bortles was sacked 126 times. Most picks, Teddy B threw 19. Tom Brady and David Fales balled out this year. Now, rushing yard wise, Patrick Mahomes actually led the league with 1,500 yards which I'm confused. Maybe it was the same in the first simulation, but why? Why is Patrick Mahomes and Amir Abdullah always having the same amount of rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, average rushing yards per game, the same amount of broken tackles, yards after contact, longest run? I don't get it, but somebody needs to do some research here. Are Patrick Mahomes and Amir Abdullah twins separated at birth? Because according to Madden 20, it seems like it. They're two completely separate people, and on two completely separate teams at two completely separate positions, but mental. Anyways, receiving touchdowns. Once again, another similarity is every year there's way more receiving touchdowns than normal. Keenan Allen led the league with 20. Jamison Crowder and Austin Carr is 17. League leader goes to Jamison Crowder with almost 1,600 yards through the air. And defensively, sack leader again is going to go to Marcel Darius, as once again there's about 7 or 8 players with over 30 sacks on the year, so nothing way too crazy. And I'm guessing the max longest field goal was 58 yards in a simulation, because I mean, in 3 separate simulations we've seen the highest being a 58-yard longest field goal. So interesting nonetheless, but nothing too noteworthy in these few simulations. I mean, still extremely interesting. Not did I expect in today's Madden experiment video to find out that Amir Abdullah and Patrick Mahomes are internally related and are a clone of each other. But in this final simulation for today's video, it's going to be Rams and Texans. So I don't believe we had the same team make it to the Super Bowl twice in today's video. So it doesn't seem like there's any favoritism. And to end it off, the Rams going to win 39-32, which is funny because their freaking quarterback was Blake Goddamn Bortles.